It's week 2 of Victoria's second shutdown, and Emma Carpenter is isolating at her home in Melbourne's outer north after she tested positive for COVID-19.
I've been spending most of my time in isolation in my bedroom. I can watch the kids play outside, but I have to keep my distance.
Bedtime hugs and kisses are no more.
May I do a cup of tea?
Oh, thanks, darling.
Good night.
Good night, love you.
Love you too.
I had been away camping with my family on the school holidays, and on the Monday afternoon I noticed a bit of a sore throat. I did feel like my glands were getting a little bit swollen and a little bit of lethargy, just mostly like I was getting a cold. I was shocked, and then of course you start to think after that, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Who have I been in contact with?
Emma is a paramedic with Victoria's ambulance service. She doesn't know how she contracted the virus, but noticed her symptoms while on holidays.
We have to wear personal protective equipment, which it's a policy, and we wear goggles and gloves and these white suits that make us look like aliens. It's unpredictable, and as a paramedic I'm not immune to it. I face the same challenges as everybody else.
Australia's recovery from COVID appears to be relapsing, with Victoria and New South Wales recording fresh cases every day. And this week, so-called virus detectives confirmed that Victoria's outbreak has spread to New South Wales.
We were too slow, really, to go into the lockdown period, which was a very tough period for everybody, and then we were too fast to come out of it.
The latest outbreak in New South Wales began on the 3rd of July, 4 days before the Victorian border was closed. New South Wales Health says a Melbourne freight worker was the likely source of the cluster that spread from the Crossroads Hotel in southwest Sydney. It's forced a growing number of venues to shut for deep cleaning and prompting mass testing over the days that followed.
New South Wales, to its credit, had until very recently come very close to effective elimination of the virus. I think there should have been a lot more serious surveillance at the border, and steps should have been taken and considered at that time, yes.
At the start of the pandemic, strategic policy expert Bill Bowtell was sounding the alarm. The former Keating advisor, credited with Australia's response to the AIDS crisis, is a supporter of an elimination strategy.
The way to live with COVID is to live without it. In Australia and New Zealand, where we have small populations, widely dispersed, and we're islands, and therefore should be able to control our borders and quarantine and so on, then we have a pretty good shot at living without COVID-19.
And that means considering an even tougher lockdown for Victoria and New South Wales.
I believe we should look to the effective elimination of the virus by, say, the 1st of September. That should be the strategy. I don't think we can go through this cycle of opening up, locking down, closing down.
We have to be able to live with COVID-19. We have to be able to keep it under control at very low levels. We will look towards no community transmission as a goal, but that does not imply elimination.
Victoria has now recorded nearly 4,500 COVID cases, currently the highest in the nation. Among them, Zainab Mahmood, an African community leader who's been helping residents in Melbourne's public housing blocks.
I'm always doing a lot for my community, so this is my responsibility to come forward and to break this silence and tell everybody I had coronavirus. I feel like pain in my muscles, and I feel like also pain in my back, and it is a pain, it's really pain, and a little bit of fever.
The 53-year-old is especially vulnerable to coronavirus because she has underlying health conditions.
I'm diabetic, and I have an arthritis, and I have a chronic stomach ulcer.
But remarkably, she recovered. In Brunswick, in Melbourne's north, GP Dr Prem Saranathan has been dealing with the widespread anxiety the second lockdown has caused.
There is no finite end in sight here. We thought there was, but then now the second wave comes. Who knows? This may be Groundhog Day. There may be a third wave and a fourth wave and so on. And it's the anxiety surrounding that, the anxiety surrounding finances, job prospects. What are we going to do in 6 months' time?
The COVID way of life could last for some time, with the head of an international inquiry into COVID's origins saying that a vaccine might not be available for 2.5 years.
Despite however much it pains you, the hugs and the kisses need to stop temporarily for the good of society. Now is the time for a bit of social conscience. We need to act collectively as a community and do the things that we need to do to keep this suppressed and potentially eliminated in the future.
It's a sentiment shared by Melbourne paramedic Emma Carpenter.
And then just into your nose.
I have been really lucky that my symptoms weren't severe, but that's not going to be the case for everybody. And if somebody you love gets this virus and they get very unwell and they possibly can die from this, you know, people really need to take it seriously.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.